oh no. You think you're gonna see what happens in the closed doors of Hollywood? We have individual actors now speaking up about certain people's names, individuals.
John Boyega, the actor known for his role in Star Wars, has recently become outspoken about what he perceives as unsettling truths within Hollywood.
Big franchise films who are now speaking about directors or whoever who have sometimes used their power to silence and you know, end careers of individuals.
He has joined a growing group of individuals who are shedding light on the challenges of working and suffering with white Hollywood elites. Among those individuals is Jamie Foxx, who suffered a stroke earlier this year.
I just didn't want you to see me like that, man. You know, I want you to see me laughing, having a good time, partying, cracking a joke, doing a movie, television show. I didn't want you to see me with tubes.
But it's not just Jamie Foxx, because several black actors have also been reported to experience health issues such as strokes during their work, which has raised eyebrows among the public. These incidents have fueled speculations that Hollywood may be involved in harming its black actors.
Comedian and actor Sinbad suffered a stroke. Family of the 64-year-old tells Variety he's starting his road to recovery and they're optimistic he'll bring laughter into their hearts soon.
Now it seems that John is speaking on behalf of all dark-skinned actors who have endured such cruelty, shedding light on why young black artists might be apprehensive about working with Hollywood elites.
Black men, and we're talking about certain specific things that catch the eye, and I saw vulnerability in a lot of black men's eyes that made me cry, because you don't get to see that. It's just man them, just like.
Medical health is a matter that should never be disregarded, especially when it concerns a group of individuals who are grappling with health issues. So, seeing John addressing this topic is quite refreshing. If we reflect on the past, we can find numerous instances of black actors who faced life-threatening situations due to strokes.
In that moment, it's just like, it chokes you up, because you're like, rah, like we're all feeling the same thing, we're all going through the same experience, and we're processing it in this strange way.
Like we said earlier, most recently, Hollywood actor Jamie Foxx appears to be defying the odds in his battle to overcome a recent medical crisis. Although there is limited information available about his health scare, a recent report suggests that his condition was so severe that he came perilously close to losing his life.
People were waiting, you know, or wanting to hear updates, but to be honest with you, I just didn't want you to see me like that, man.
The internet has been abuzz with activity since Jamie Foxx was hospitalized due to an undisclosed medical emergency. Social media platforms are teeming with speculations and controversies. But one particular theory has gained significant traction. Some individuals believe that Jamie Foxx's illness was not the result of natural medical causes, but rather an attempt on his life.
When he talked about the drugs, the mental drugs, I've had an episode of that. Really? So when he was talking about, I went in for 2 pills and the 7 pills, that's real.
According to TMZ, Jamie Foxx was urgently transported to the hospital due to a severe medical emergency. The situation was so critical that his family members flew to Atlanta, where he was working on his upcoming film Back in Action alongside Cameron Diaz.
Jamie Foxx suffered a very serious medical emergency that landed him in the hospital.
His daughter Corinne Foxx said that Jamie had been hospitalized due to medical complications and that her father is recovering very fast. Corinne posted on Instagram saying, "Luckily, due to quick action and great care, he is already on his way to recovery. We know how beloved he is and appreciate your prayers." The family asks for privacy during this time. After this, Jamie's spokesperson told Fox News Digital that nothing further is being provided from the family at this time. No information about Jamie's status has been made public, and the family has not commented further. While it has been reported that the police visited Jamie Foxx in the hospital, the actor purportedly claimed to them that someone was actively attempting to harm him and suggested that the reported medical emergency was a ruse. Fans were left in a state of shock and horror by his alarming statements. Somebody on Twitter commented, "Jamie Foxx told the cops somebody is trying to kill him. I'm telling you, Maine, it's like they have a timer of these celebs' lives." I believe him. But even beyond that comment, it appears there might have been other claims from some people that Jamie Foxx's condition was orchestrated and that certain influential figures are seeking to manipulate the situation. For example, it has been pointed out multiple times that the Hollywood industry is often associated with practices that some consider to be unsettling or unorthodox.
We have to understand that Hollywood has been one of the most racist institutions in this country.
While Jamie Foxx has fortunately recovered from his medical emergency, comments attributed to his doctors have been described as quite startling. Reportedly, they have indicated that his condition was extremely serious throughout his time in the hospital. An insider said, Jamie suffered a serious medical episode and needed immediate attention. It was touch and go for days with him and he had to be revived. He is very lucky to be alive. He's very lucky he got the treatment he did. Jamie suffers from high blood pressure, which doctors say can cause clots in the brain leading to a stroke. Doctors believe this was a long time coming, and really, if they hadn't acted fast, Jamie might well have been a goner. Before his health scare, it's been claimed that Jamie Foxx experienced what is described as an absolute meltdown while filming in England. This resulted in him losing his temper and confronting several members of the crew, ultimately leading to the dismissal of 2 directors and his personal driver. The questions of why such incidents occur has given rise to speculation and rumors. Some people have highlighted that there is a belief that Hollywood has historically resisted the rise of black individuals in the industry, leading to alleged mistreatment or challenges faced by black actors during production. One source claimed Jamie has absolutely been troubled throughout the shoot. He wasn't fun to be around, especially for Cameron, but now there seems to have been a good reason for it. The tense atmosphere prompted Cameron to reconsider her return to acting after a 9-year hiatus. As you've already seen in a clip before now, another notable comedian who faced a similar ordeal is Sinbad. It has been 3 years since comedian and actor Sinbad suffered a debilitating stroke, which resulted in him being placed on a ventilator and put into a medically induced coma. His family revealed that his situation had a survival rate of approximately 30%, but fortunately he is now in recovery. What his family says is really heart-wrenching. They said to a website, his progress is nothing short of remarkable. Limbs that were said to be dead are coming alive, and he's taking the steps necessary to learn to walk again. This update follows 2 years after Sinbad experienced an ischemic stroke when a blood clot traveled from his heart to his brain. Despite an initially very promising prognosis, he faced complications as another blood clot developed the following day. Subsequently, he had to undergo a second surgery. Unfortunately, his brain started to swell, and during a craniotomy procedure to alleviate the pressure, doctors discovered a brain bleed. It was at that point that he was placed in a medically induced coma and connected to a ventilator. It would be weeks before he would open his eyes, speak, or show signs of basic mobility. His family said on the website, "It wasn't long before we realized he couldn't move his left side or simply hold his head up. The more time passed, the more the family learned how much had been lost." After several months of receiving care in various acute care facilities, Sinbad was admitted to a rehabilitation center in May 2021. It took 9 months, but he finally returned home. He had been making progress in his recovery, even making a cameo appearance in an episode of FX's Atlanta. However, his family started seeking financial assistance through a website to cover the costs of his treatment, as it exceeded what insurance was going to cover.
He had a stroke, and I just want to say this for people who are listening, because our lives are really dominoes laid up, decisions made, environment, of course.
Furthermore, the family mentioned that the chances of survival from this kind of event were roughly around 30%. They also noted that Sinbad had surpassed these odds and had made remarkable progress beyond initial expectations. However, they emphasized that there was still a considerable journey ahead in his recovery. Sinbad's supporters never stopped praying for him, and one of them wrote, "Prayers and best wishes for Brother Sinbad. The point you raise about us not acting like our oppressor is everything. So much of our men versus women, youth versus elders, superstar versus regular people BS is so Eurocentric derived, and so many of us just wallow in it. It's heartbreaking at times. Naturally, it's a heartbreaking situation, and fans are directing their concerns toward Hollywood's actions. They are questioning why Sinbad did not receive financial assistance from the industry and why he had to endure such a severe health condition without adequate support, and these questions are undoubtedly concerning.
I never go through that woe is me. You can turn your life around like this.
Another legendary figure on this list is Martin Lawrence. At the peak of his career, Martin Lawrence faced a medical crisis that nearly claimed his life. Lawrence, renowned as one of the greatest comedic actors of all time, was known for his intense work ethic. However, he pushed his dedication to a dangerous extreme. In 1999, while striving to shed weight for his role in Big Mama's House, the Bad Boys for Life actor fell into a coma for 3 days, narrowly escaping death.
Y'all ain't never heard of Soul Career?
During this period, reports categorized Martin Lawrence's condition as critical, and medical professionals had to connect him to a respirator. Additionally, he faced kidney distress, as reported by Chris Carraway, the spokesperson for the hospital where he was admitted. This situation seems to lend support to the argument that Hollywood places significant stress on black actors, as Joy suggested.
Yeah. Hollywood is full of, the lefties, tree huggers, Hollywood is full of that, so they love it.
Reports indicated that the star jeopardized his life by wearing heavy clothing and a plastic sweatsuit while jogging in scorching 100-degree weather. This intense workout led to his collapse, resulting in a 3-day coma during which his breathing had to be supported by a ventilator at the Los Robles Regional Medical Center. Additionally, his body temperature reached a staggering 107 degrees Fahrenheit during this critical period.
The ignorance of people that think that what you see in the media of any actor or footballer, represents the entirety of their experience.
However, Hollywood did not seem to appear to address these issues in response to such warnings. The industry continued to be criticized for its treatment of individuals, and there remained an ongoing list of people who endured hardships and challenges as a result of what some perceive as cruelty within the industry. In 2016, Kid Cudi penned a heartfelt letter to his fans, revealing that he was in need of assistance. The musician was grappling with depression and suicidal thoughts, prompting him to voluntarily admit himself into a rehabilitation facility.
I dealt with suicide for the past 5 years. Loneliness is a terrible, terrible thing, man. And if you don't know how to conquer it, it can eat you alive.
He explained to his fans, "I am not at peace. I haven't been since you've known me. If I didn't come here, I would have done something to myself." However, another perilous situation was waiting in the wings. In a recently conducted interview with Esquire, the artist disclosed that just 2 weeks after entering rehab, he suffered a stroke and had to be hospitalized. This was an incredibly frightening and traumatic experience for him. The stroke had such a profound impact that it severely affected his speech and physical movements, to the extent that his manager advised him to temporarily step away from music. He underwent several weeks of physical therapy to aid in his recovery.
Well, that's where most of the bad stuff came in, because I was like, I have to live up to be this person, and I don't feel like that.
He was 32 years old at the time, and although that might seem relatively young, a February 2020 article in the journal Stroke indicates that between 10% and 15% of strokes happen to individuals between the ages of 18 and 50. Moreover, rates of strokes among people under 45 seem to be increasing. In Kid Cudi's situation, he has been open about his 2-week substance binge just before seeking treatment in rehab.
Like doing a comedy, but you're miserable.
Yep.
It's like my life was like this show, and I was always supposed to be on.
Kid Cudi further disclosed that his hiatus from music a few years ago was not solely due to his battles with substance use and depression. It was also prompted by a stroke that left him with speech and movement impairments. However, he noted that he didn't fully regain his sense of self until he auditioned for a role in the Broadway show Lobby Hero alongside Michael Cera in 2017. In order to audition, he had to memorize a substantial amount of dialogue.
When the show was over, I was completely miserable. For a long time, I was not happy when I woke up in the morning.
And although the part ended up going to another actor, he said, "I proved to myself that I could do it. I needed that at the time. I was happy. Like, damn, my brain is still strong. I didn't lose something in that shit that happened." Moving on to another celebrity, the legendary B.B. King's tragic demise is truly etched in our memory. According to the Associated Press, B.B. King passed away as a result of a succession of mini strokes related to his type 2 diabetes. Apparently, his physician, Dr. Darren Brimhall, and Clark County Coroner John Frudenberg informed the AP that King's cause of death was multi-infarct dementia, also known as vascular dementia. This condition is triggered by a series of small strokes.
We remember the man known as the King of the Blues. B.B. King has died at the age of 89. This morning, fans are gathering right here in Times Square at the B.B. King Blues Club and Grill.
This condition is sometimes referred to as mid-multi-infarct dementia and is also known as vascular dementia. Dementia is characterized by a permanent decline in brain function associated with various diseases including diabetes. Typically, it affects individuals aged 55 and older, impacting aspects such as memory, cognitive abilities, language, and judgment. Dr. Brimhall explained that King's strokes were a result of diminished blood flow, which occurred due to his chronic diabetes, including unhealthy fluctuations in blood sugar levels.
Born Riley B. King in 1925, he originally performed as a busker on the streets of Indianola, Mississippi, before being given gigs and a radio show in Memphis, Tennessee.
The concerning aspect here is that initial reports primarily attributed B.B. King's death to high blood pressure and diabetes. If it weren't for the information provided by his doctors, the public might not have been aware that he actually had succumbed to a series of significant mini strokes, and that his condition wasn't being adequately managed.
It's hard to imagine the blues without B.B. King. The legendary blues man released over 50 albums with hit songs such as The Thrill Is Gone and Let the Good Times Roll.
If you think that's all, you are mistaken, because there are other celebrities who went through the same thing. One of them is veteran stand-up comedian Patrice O'Neal, known for his work in TV and radio as well as his contributions to the Charlie Sheen roast. He was reported to have passed away due to complications stemming from a stroke he had suffered the previous month, and he was just 41 years old. Patrice O'Neal's manager Jonathan Brandstein confirmed that he passed away in a hospital in the New York area. Many of us have lost a close and loved friend. All of us have lost a true comic genius, Brandstein said in a statement. Patrice O'Neal made notable appearances on television shows hosted by Conan O'Brien and David Letterman. He was also a frequent guest on the Opie and Anthony radio show broadcast on Sirius XM. One of his standout moments was his performance during the Comedy Central roast of Charlie Sheen, who had been dismissed from the popular CBS sitcom 2.5 Men. People suggested that dismissal might have been the cause of his untimely death. One of his fans wrote, "Patrice O'Neal has easily had the biggest impact on me from someone I never met or will get to meet. Rest in peace to the greatest, the general to all the soldiers that are left. We're losing the war, but we'll fight on in your honor, Bruiser." Another one wrote, "Patrice O'Neal was more of a philosopher or a person that just spoke common sense and truth more than he was a comedian. His way of thinking was just naturally funny. He didn't force it ever." So it's clearer now that John Boyega being outspoken about Hollywood's mistreatment of black actors might not be outlandish. In recent years, there has been greater cultural representation in Hollywood after a push for it, with Disney notably featuring several black actors in their franchises. However, John Boyega, as a prominent Hollywood talent, has continued to express his dissatisfaction with the final outcome of these efforts.
You think you're gonna see what happens in the closed doors of Hollywood? Why would you see that?
With Disney's ownership of significant entities like Pixar and Marvel, there has indeed been a notable increase in the inclusion of black actors and characters in their films. The release of Black Panther in 2018, featuring an all-black cast, particularly stands out as a significant moment in this regard. However, John Boyega has been vocal in sharing his perspective and thoughts on these developments, indicating that there are still important issues and challenges to address in the industry.
So I was just like, you lot ain't about to take me out like that. I'm gonna tell everyone.
Back in November 2020, when Boyega was still enjoying his Star Wars successes, he sat down to discuss the issue mentioned. He told GQ magazine, "You get yourself involved in projects and you're not necessarily going to like everything. But what I would say to Disney is do not bring out a black character, market them to be much more important in the franchise than they are, and then have them pushed to the side. It's not good. I'll say it straight up." John Boyega has expressed his concerns regarding his character Finn, a former stormtrooper who he believes was initially highlighted but then gradually sidelined in the Star Wars franchise. He also suggests that his fellow cast member Naomi Ackie experienced similar treatment. Boyega has compared his experiences and struggles within the franchise to those of the rest of the cast, highlighting what he sees as disparities in their character development and treatment. He said, "You know what to do with these other people, but when it came to Kelly Marie Tran, when it came to John Boyega, you know, f*** all. They gave all the nuance to Adam Driver, all the nuance to Daisy Ridley. Let's be honest, Daisy knows this, Adam knows this, everybody knows. I'm not exposing anything." As for his future with the franchise, Boyega said he is still willing to return to the franchise. He told Tech Radar that was a few years ago, so they were the subject of that particular project. "But I'm open to all characters and scripts that are enjoyable, have a great cast attached, and a terrific director. So yeah, I'm open to all opportunities." Apparently, the actor is willing to put the costume on and give life to Finn once again. As someone who has likely faced it, John has continued to passionately speak about the issue of systemic racism within the entertainment industry. At one point, he even feared that his support for the Black Lives Matter movement could jeopardize his career in Hollywood. According to him, black actors have never once in their service period been treated like light-skinned actors, and now it seems to be true according to the recent incidents.